los fundamentos del mercado del cobre.
The foundations of the copper market have been improving lately, with a better-than-expected economic performance in China, the expectation of outstanding growth for the electric car sector, and with infrastructure projects in China that anticipate an increase of the demand in commodities in the next years. I believe that the following years will see a new cycle of high prices. Therefore, this will help the fiscal amounts to be favorable and, without a doubt, any government that will benefit from this situation will have a much better scope for action.
Joining me now for more on this is Peter Major. He's the head of mining at Cadiz Corporate Solutions in Cape Town. Peter, thanks so much for joining us here on Money Talks. Now, how would the outcome of the Chilean elections impact the country's key industry, copper?
Boy, you couldn't find a better analogy than looking at how bad policies have affected South Africa's mining industry, because this country was 50% of world mining market cap in 1980, and now it's been reduced to 2, maybe 3% at most. And mining is every bit as important for Chile as it is for South Africa. In fact, 20% of Chile's GDP is based on copper, and Chile supplies 1/3 of the world's copper. And we know that's arguably the most valuable metal in the world, especially going forward. It's electrification, it's using solar energy, it's transmitting energy generated from windmills, nuclear reactors. So Chile can look at South Africa and see what bad policies do, but they probably don't need to look here because Chile's had very good policies for at least the last 40, 50 years.
Okay.
And if you just look at the production they had was maybe, yeah.
No, I just wanted to pick your brain a bit further on that, Peter. What is Chile doing so well that other countries can learn more from? Exactly what are these government policies?
They've got the Foreign Investment Act, the Foreign Investment, forget the proper name, but this is cast in stone, and it was formulated by government decades ago. And it's very clear, it's very precise, and it's fairly simple to read and understand and implement. And so it gives foreign investors a lot of confidence, a lot of surety how well they'll be protected, what they get for their money, and all the protections and rights. Chile has very strong institutions. So no matter who is president, it doesn't have too much effect on their institutions for the last 40 years. And so they've had different kinds of government, left, right, center, right wing. And even now, with a billionaire running against a far left, we call them radical contender, it's unlikely to affect their economic policy very much.
Okay, so no matter who is president. Okay, we'll bear that in mind. Now, with the boom in electric cars and the growing interest from China, what are your predictions for the price of copper going forward?
I'm a little bit cynical on today's price of copper. It's pretty strong. Everybody's making money. I think it's averaging around $3 a pound, which is probably $6,200 a ton. If you look at the long-term average, that's quite a bit higher than the long-term average. So it means there's more demand than normal now, and we can say there's lots of reasons for that more demand, but China's vociferous double-digit growth for the last 25 years, it has tapered down to single-digit growth, and it's hard for me to see the copper price going up much more, because when everybody's making money at this price, it means they're happy to expand production at this price. And we see copper going from 19 million tons a couple years ago to 21 million tons this year. The forecast is about 1 million tons in another year and a half. So I don't see the price going much higher, but all the producers are making pretty good profits even at this level we see today.
Okay, but there's something looming on the horizon in Chile. Next year, the largest mines there are going to be facing wage talks next year. And there's the saying that there was a time when a sneeze in Santiago would cause the global copper market to catch a cold. Will these wage talks next year affect the global copper markets at all?
They very much will, especially if people start bumping heads. And we've seen the unions in the wage talks in Chile bump heads with the producers. They're very strong. They're pretty firm when they want wages above inflation. And they're very good at monitoring the profitability of companies when they go into negotiations. And so with copper prices where they are today, I think the union's going to try and strike a hard bargain. But this is where government has to play an important refereeing role. As long as the negotiations are legal and both sides follow the Constitution and legislation, that's fine. But they can't have people stepping outside.
Okay.
And look, a radical strike, it could affect copper prices. They would go up because Chile produces.
Okay. Peter, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here on Money Talks. That was Peter Major, Head of Mining at Cadiz Corporate Solutions in Cape Town for us.